In this video, I want to talk about the 7 things that you should know about Boulder before you decide to make a move. From its quality of life to the weather to the cost of living and so much more, so stay tuned. My name is Carla Howell with Equity Colorado Real Estate. Boulder is unmistakably one of the most beautiful Colorado towns nestled against the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. With almost 300 days of sunshine, incomparable outdoor activities, culture, food, it sounds like paradise, right? But are you missing something? With a cost of living over 50% higher than the U.S. average, the median home price in Boulder is $1.5 million for a single-family home. But just under $500,000 for a townhome or a condo. So yes, living in Boulder does come at a cost, whether you're purchasing a home or renting. The quality of life is amazing and very, very rare, but it will cost more in the form of housing. Boulder has been recognized as the best city to live in the U.S. National Geographic ranks it as the happiest city, but let's put aside the marijuana dispensaries and breweries. Beer and pot, they've been around the Boulder scene since the 1960s. Its laid-back atmosphere is standard regardless of where you live in Boulder. In social conversations, they're the norm with neighbors, newcomers, and visitors. The fun-loving inhabitants of Boulder, well, they're very, very friendly. Even with its relatively small population, small town feel, there's a never-ending list of things to do, places to explore, amazing food festivals, entertainment, shopping, and I could go on and on and on. So instead, I'll share some free guides with food and brews and tours below this video for you to download. Boulder lives big with great city amenities and the Rocky Mountains as your backyard playground. It's only 45 minutes to Denver, an hour to the airport, and just a few minutes to Parks Trails in the Boulder Creek. But with all its pluses, is this inspiring town worth the higher price tag? According to a CBS report, Boulder is one of the least affordable metropolitan areas in the U.S. Boulder is fit. That's the focus of the residents here, and it doesn't matter what age you are. Athletes from around the world find their homes at Boulder because the altitude at 6,000 feet above sea level actually makes it a great place to train. As their bodies acclimate to the higher altitude of 6,000 feet above sea level, they produce more red blood cells, which enables their blood to carry more oxygen. So when it's time to compete at a lower elevation or sea level, this oxygen gives a boost to their muscles for a winning advantage. Well, for the average workout enthusiast, there's a lot of activities like hiking, biking, walking, and of course, don't forget yoga. Since 1948, the University of Colorado at Boulder produced over 90 Olympic athletes that competed in events across the globe. Marathon runner Frank Shorter, the gold medalist of the 1972 Summer Olympics, was the first athlete to intentionally move to Boulder to train. So you never know who you might be standing in line with at the grocery store. Maybe a famous bicyclist or a triathlon competitor, and I think that is really cool. Boulder hosts the Boulder every year, and that's a 10K race event during the Memorial Day weekend. It's one of the largest races in the world with around 50,000 participants of all ages. So if you come to participate, you can count on seeing some of the most competitive runners in the world. Boulder is a great place to live, but don't forget that Boulder is a college town. So during the school year, Boulder's population grows over 30,000 people as students descend on the city to attend the University of Colorado from all over the country and even the world. The University of Colorado is one of the top public universities in the country, and it has played a major role since the 1900s in drawing talent in science, engineering, and the arts. Today, this school also attracts future entrepreneurs in science, technology, and really any industry that you could possibly think of. With its beautiful background and playground, it inspires students to be very creative. Maybe it's an environmental invention, or maybe a new software program. It could be an upcoming author, artist, or soon-to-be famous Broadway star. The creative possibilities are endless in Boulder. However, with this young energy comes lots of parties, noise, and bike riders on the street at night without any lights. So be careful while driving at night in Boulder. Once the students return home for the summer, tourists and visitors descend upon the city, and the energy of Boulder changes as the summer festivals begin, starting with Memorial Day weekend, which brings the Boulder Creek Festival and the Boulder 10K race. You might not need a car. Honestly, because Boulder is very environmentally friendly, you really can get around easily by bicycle. Boulder is at the top of the list with over 300 miles of bike paths and bike lanes, and bikes are a serious method of transportation throughout the town. Supported by the city of Boulder, the paths and lanes are made safe by having several bike paths crossing busy streets using underpass access, and unique crosswalks that warn cars to come to a stop as soon as the bicyclist works its way into the yellow crosswalk. Boulder encourages bikes as an alternative to driving, with bicycle stations where you can rent bikes for a very nominal fee to get wherever you need to go across town. Take a look at the map of all the stations. That's crazy. Boulder recently introduced the e-scooter program with electric scooter rental stations to get around town on the east side. There are multiple paths that e-scooters can use, including bike paths, street bike lanes, and even sidewalks. Well, I don't know about you, but that's kind of scary. With all these inner city resources, you can really park the car and enjoy the weather and the sights as you cruise around by bike, scooter, or bus. And if you need to venture outside of Boulder and other nearby towns, don't be surprised to find regional bus lines, bike paths, and lanes to get you there. But if it's a trip into the mountains, well, you're going to have to uncover the car, wipe off the cobwebs to actually drive into the hills so that you can explore. Do you want to start a business? Boulder is your town. Boulder attracts entrepreneurs from all over the country. Some well-known products of Boulder include Celestial Seasonings herbal teas, Justin's peanut butter cups, and of course, Izzy sparkling juices. But that's just to name a few, because you never know what businesses or products or inventions will pop up as another Boulder business. There are several different organizations that help nurture these budding businesses, including startup-centric meetup groups. Boulder and Denver play a really big role and a part in providing resources and connections and even startup capital. And it's not unusual to run into a young, talented entrepreneur in their 20s and 30s. What? 300 days of sunshine? Well, it's true. The weather is amazing, with a few thunderstorms that roll in the summer afternoons and roll out about 30 minutes later, and low humidity, so you can play outside into the nightfall. There's no giant mosquitoes to worry about, especially if you're not near standing lake water, or if you come from a high humid area, you'll be pleasantly surprised. The snow comes in the winter, and the sunshine melts the snow quickly. Boulder does get the most amount of snow because it's nestled up in the foothills at around 6,000 feet above sea level. So you might want to consider a snow blower or some sort of back-saving shovel. Don't be surprised to see 7-degree weather in the month of January or February, or a large snowstorm in April or May, as typical weather patterns aren't always predictable. Hailstorms are the norm along the whole Front Range. They can be pea-size or as big as marbles, and sometimes even golf ball size. So you'll want to make sure that you have really good insurance coverage on your house and your car. In 2013, Boulder and Boulder Valley experienced a 500-year flood, doing some significant damage in the valley. Being situated at the base of the mountains does put some of the areas at risk more than others. But this kind of flooding is not the norm, and the last time that this happened was in 1976. Since 2013, the government flood maps have been adjusted and updated. You'll be able to know if your home is going to be located in a flood risk location, or if a property location will need additional flood insurance. The winds can be strong in Boulder all the way along the foothills south to Golden. In the winter, they are known as Chinook winds, which is a warm wind that melts any previous snow accumulation. Winds occur year-round in the Boulder area, but they are more prevalent in the change of seasons from fall into winter and in the spring. Are there tornadoes? Actually, there have been a few, mostly in the Eastern Plains and in the Denver metropolitan area, but they aren't like the scene from The Wizard of Oz. They're more like a little skinny tail that comes down low enough just to shuffle cars around and blow out a few windows and do some damage to your roof. Did you know that Boulder is ranked as America's foodiest towns? This is according to Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. The crew from this show has been to Boulder quite a few times, and here are a few restaurants that have appeared on the show. The first one is Audrey Jane's Pizza Garage. Audrey is a true Colorado native who traveled to Italy and brought back her amazing meatball sandwich recipe and other favorites to share with us in Boulder. Warning though, this is not for calorie counters. But don't forget Foolish Craig's Cafe. Established in 1998, open for breakfast, lunch, brunch, and drinks. Daily homemade bread, crepes, and fresh eggs makes this place rock. And then, last but not least, The Sink, one of my all-time favorites and hangouts growing up. It's located on the University Hill and has been around since 1928. That might just be the oldest restaurant in Boulder. The food is amazing, and the fun graffiti on all the walls adds to its history and its charm. The Sink was visited by President Obama in 2012, and Robert Redford was a janitor in the mid-50s. Now that I think about it, my dad was a dishwasher at the Sink in the mid-50s. Maybe they knew each other before Robert got famous. My dad never said anything. He probably didn't even know he would be famous. Maybe they hung out on the hill. Who knows? You know, you don't want to miss something before you consider a move to Boulder. So make sure that you watch the pros and the cons of living in Boulder and some other helpful videos in the description below. Oh, and don't forget your free guides for food and brews in Boulder. That's below too. If you like my channel, please leave a positive comment and subscribe. Well, thanks for watching.